Hello everybody, how you guys doing today? AVM Superhero here. We at Love is Black in Stonecrest Mall with Jonathan Collins. You know what? Before that, let's start the intro, bro.
Mama told me don't wait on miracles. Don't give a reason to comfort your soul. Don't beg for nobody, nobody can get you head out. You know you got it if you want it all. Mama told me don't wait on miracles. Don't.
So Jonathan, how you doing today, sir?
Man, I'm blessed. I can't complain.
I'm so glad that you're on my show, man. You have been a motivational part of my life. I don't know if you know this or not, but what you have done for me is truly remarkable. But before we talk about that, I want to know about you. You know, I didn't really know a lot about you before, but, you know, as the years progressed, I learned a lot about you. So why are you on this hot seat of Death Taught Us How to Live today? Who are you?
Well, man, I went through a very traumatic experience where I was completely paralyzed and I had to learn to walk again. And, you know, I spent 4 months in the hospital. I had to learn to walk, talk, and breathe, even motor functions all over again. So, yeah.
So what happened to you? What actually happened to you to make you get paralyzed? What happened to you? What kind of disease did you have?
So I had an autoimmune disease. It's called Guillain-Barré syndrome. If you were to look it up on Google, you could type in GBS and it'll literally come up. Guillain-Barré syndrome is when your immune system is attacking your nervous system, and it causes paralysis. Some people see it worse than others. Me, it started in my feet, moved its way up through my body, and completely shut me down to the point where I can only blink.
So how long ago was this, and how old were you when this happened?
I was 23 at the time. I was diagnosed December 2008, and I spent all of December in ICU on a ventilator, fighting for my life, and then I didn't end up leaving the hospital until March 2009.
So, that's what, 13 years ago?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, Jonathan, I had to admit that when I met you, you know, you came down to Atlanta and we were playing basketball at this particular park in Atlanta in Stonecrest, Georgia. And we used to go back and forth. I used to hate the heck out of you, bro, because you know how you just go at me. You know what I mean? I didn't like that.
Right.
But when I had my stroke, something interesting happened. I believe you called my wife and said, "I want to talk to Greg." I'm like, "That's cool. I want people to come by and check me out."
Right.
But when we conversed, it was different. You started opening up to what happened to you, and that moment in my life I will never forget, because you told me something. And it bugged me out. I wanted to fight you at that time too. I was like, "Yo, I can't walk." You said, "I don't care. Walk.
Right.
Get up. Stop complaining. Get up and do what you have to do." Matter of fact, I couldn't walk either. G. I'm like, "Really?"
Right.
And that's when you started telling me about your story. And you was telling me that, hey, you know, only thing I could do is lift up a water bottle, and that was my curls. And then after that, I kept on going. So it's like a mind over matter type of thing. Can you talk about how that actually helped you out moving forward?
Well, man, it's even deeper than that, because I got to a point where I did give up, Greg. And a lot of times in people's stories, you only hear the success part about it.
Right.
And for me, I gave up.
Right.
I actually talked about it in the book that I wrote, and I guess we talk about it later, but I attempted suicide.
Really?
Yes. So I'm a suicide survivor as well.
Yeah.
Through my journey.
Yeah.
Even deeper than that, I'm a very spiritual person. Why even entertain thoughts of what if I sold my soul to the devil? Will he allow me to get up and walk again?
Wow.
Yeah.
It was that deep.
It was that deep. It was that deep.
Hold on a second. So if you guys like what you're hearing right now, please like and subscribe and actually put comments down here. Jonathan will answer your questions for you guys, please. All right, Jonathan, I'm really shocked by all this, but
Yeah.
I don't doubt it, because I know when I had my stroke, I went through very dark places, and you can attest when I was talking, you was like, "Greg, shut up, move forward."
Right.
So you knew where I was actually going.
Right.
So is that book and all the stuff that you're doing right now, is that the motivation that you want to help out other people and to make them do what they have to do?
Absolutely. I believe that the journeys that we go through are not only for ourselves, but they're for other people to motivate them. And that's why I felt it as my responsibility when I found out, you know, that you had a stroke.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what condition you was in.
Right.
I know Tiffany, your wife, was telling me, you know, kind of what you were going through or whatnot. And I was like, you know what? God gave me something to give to somebody else. So I made it my responsibility to come and share with you.
You know what? Jonathan, and I don't know if people out there is actually understanding this part, but when you have this transformation in life and you know how precious life is, instead of being selfish, you be selfless. And I guess that's why this Love is Black is actually been born. Is that the birth child from that?
Yes, it's actually self-love.
Self-love. So
Self-love.
once you're giving in that self-love within yourself and your mind and body, you'll be able to give it out to other people. And it's not about being greed or having jealousy of anybody else. It's about bringing people up in life. Am I right?
Absolutely. You're right.
Jonathan, I'm going to jump around in this because this is really throwing me off because I really seen you. I've been watching you even before I had my stroke. And I know you was going through some very hard times. You was actually trying to really solicit a lot of people at Walmart, and then you got your followings up on Facebook for 5,000 people because you was just out there going and get it. But I didn't understand the drive behind it.
Right.
Was that all about that drive that you almost couldn't walk anymore and then you had to get this back out and then you wanted to help everybody out? Can you really talk about that?
Yeah,
that time in your life?
Definitely. During that time in my life, I was motivated to do better. I knew I had a story. I knew I had something, and I believed in myself at that time. And I'm a big person that believe that you only get one shot in life. You know what I mean? And I always looked at people that were older, and they would talk about the glory days on what they could have done, what they should have did. And to me, I knew that God gave me a testimony. He gave me everything I needed. It's just up for me to do the work. And I believe that he was going to bless me if I did the work. So I was scared at times. You know, there was times where I was injured and I had torn my Achilles, and I was in a boot for about 10 months during that time period. And I was like, you know what? This is not an excuse. It's not an excuse. It's just a challenge. So what I ended up doing is I lived in Stockbridge still at the time. Yeah. I bought a MARTA pass and drove to the airport and jumped on MARTA and rode MARTA from here, from all the way up to College Park, back all the way down to Dunwoody, and I got off on each station along the way, passing out my flyers in a boot, limping around, because I knew this was only a small hurdle, and I believe that things that we go through only make us better.
So for everybody that don't know what he's talking about, MARTA is the mass transit for Atlanta, and he's talking about from the beginning of the transit from the south side all the way to the north side, he would get out and actually promote his stuff. That's pretty interesting. So that mindset came in from not knowing what the goal was going to be, but believing in what you're going to actually accomplish in life because you know that God has something for you. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Absolutely.
Okay, I get that. So when I had my stroke, I had a lot of depression. I had a lot of bad days, dark days, and then I realized I was hating myself a lot. I was angry with myself a lot. And then once I got rid of that anger and realized that God or whatever my higher being has me and I have nothing in control of this whatsoever, that's when I became free. Absolutely. Did the same thing happen for you?
100%. 100%. It was an acceptance. It was submitting to that higher power. It was submitting to God's will.
That's a hard thing for a man to do, bro.
Absolutely. And that's why I entertain the fact of selling my soul to the devil, because I'm like, man, I can't even kill myself right.
Really?
I can't even kill. Like I'm so crippled that I can't kill myself right. So the only thing I was left with was my thoughts and my prayers. So I started entertaining those thoughts, and I was like, God literally gave me a transitional. Once I submitted, I told him, I said, you know what, God, you won.
I love what you're saying, Jonathan, because a lot of people don't understand that actual concept. Like, okay, I am serving God, I am living in my purpose, but the first thing that you said that you had to do is that you had to submit. You had to become low in order to become high.
Absolutely.
That's the only way it's going to happen,
Absolutely. And I feel like a lot of times people try to backdoor it, and it's almost like taking a detour.
Yeah.
You taking this long detour when you could have probably just went straight the first time. But, you know, I was hard-headed. You know, I was like, I'm going to get back to who I was. And I knew I didn't want to give up. I was only 23 at the time.
Wow.
I was only 23.
Wow.
So it wasn't until I submitted. And at that time, my upper body strength was there,
Yeah.
but my legs had not moved. The
Yeah.
doctor told me there was a 99% chance I would never walk again.
So you defy the odds of the medical community
Uh-huh.
and actually believe in your God and in yourself to actually heal yourself to get better. Is that what you're saying to me?
Yep.
I have a couple of people right now that's probably looking at this and like, this is bull crap. I can't believe that this is actually happening. He can't be actually true. Guys, I'm telling you, I couldn't walk. And Jonathan came to my house and said, get up and walk. I don't care if you can't walk. I couldn't walk. He didn't know my prognosis. He didn't know anything about me that other than I had a stroke and I was feeling bad, I couldn't walk. That's all he said. Walk. So I'm understanding this concept because I done some research myself about mind over matter and understanding that if your mind is actually in a place of actually saying that you can do these things, I'm not saying it automatically will, but it's in a better place than saying that you can't. Absolutely. Do you believe that same type of way too, with your words?
I do. I really do. I think you can speak things into existence. Like it's not a magic trick, like you were saying. Like it just don't happen immediately. But I believe that once you speak it into existence, once you believe it, once you consume it, you start moving in that direction. I really honestly believe in my heart that once you do it, you move in the direction that you want to. And I had a dream after that period of time.
Yeah.
And you ever have a dream when you were a kid that you had to use the bathroom, and in your dream you get up, you go to the bathroom, and you end up
going to the bathroom.
Going to the bathroom on yourself, and then you wake up and realize
you went to the bathroom.
I'm wet.
Yeah.
But I had a dream that similar way when I was in the hospital, and then I woke, and in my dream, I'm looking at my hands like, I can't walk. What's going on?
Right.
And then I wake up instantly, and my leg is elevated this much off of the bed, and it hadn't been moving in 3 months. It was about an inch off of the bed, and in that moment, I knew that God gave me just a little bit for me to believe in. And then once that happened, I was like, oh. Greg, I said, hey, I'm walking out of the hospital. I said, I'm walking out of here. That's it.
But that's what I'm talking about. So you basically had that vision, you had that dream, you had that insight within you, and you believed it.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. Like, in the impossible is happening, and you believe the impossible because you believe in your God. You believe in what He can do for you. You believe in the might of God.
Right.
I get that. But let me ask you something. Like when this happened, and it sounds similar to what happened to me when I had my stroke, I was like, okay, I'm going to die. I felt like I was going to die. And then I was like, I thought about my ex-wife. I thought about my mother and my father. I thought about my children. And when I got to my children, I was like, oh, I can't die. I got to do things for my children. So I asked God, give me another chance. And He said, okay. And everything just started getting better from there. So it seems like you had some kind of revelation within your dream that brought you back to here to this particular time. I'm asking you this question because you helped me out before, so I'm asking you this now. I was scared to ask God another favor since that particular time. I haven't asked Him another favor since that time. Does those type of dreams that you had scare you?
No, because I believe that my God is a merciful God, and He has grace. You know, I believe that nobody on this earth is perfect. So I believe that He consistently forgives over and over and over and over again. And just like your kids and my kids, you know, they make mistakes. They do things that's bad, wrong, all the time. When they hurt themselves, when they may have hit somebody else playing too rough or something like that, you know, I believe that God acts in the same way with His mercy.
I get that. So, Jonathan, I'm in this beautiful store that you have right now called Love Is Black, and how was this birth? Like, I know you was talking about, you rejuvenated, you realized your vision that God had for you.
Right.
Is this the final stage of the vision, or is it? I already know the answer to that. But where are you in this vision? Is it still part of what God has for you, or did you force this to happen to play? Talk to me about.
Well,
this.
you know what? I was actually writing my book here. I'm stronger, I'm wise, I'm better. This is a story how everything we're talking about me being paralyzed, but I was writing my book in 2019, and as I was writing my book, I discovered something about myself. And I'm sure since you've been doing your thing, you probably discovered some things out about yourself that's still helping you move forward. And in that time I didn't love myself as much as I thought I did while I was writing this book. And then while I was doing that, I use the expression as love is black as a form of self-love. And I threw it on a t-shirt and I put it on Facebook. You know, when we take our selfies or whatnot, I put it on Facebook and said, hey, in order to love somebody else, you have to love yourself 100%. And that was the caption on my t-shirt when I first displayed it on Facebook. And from that point forward, you know, God blessed me with a new vision of a clothing line called Love is Black.
So hold on. I'm with you on this. So I think this is tying back to what we've been talking about all this time. This wasn't planned. Mm-hmm. This was just an emotion that you was feeling, a thought that you was feeling, and God brought it to fruition. Is that what you're telling me?
Absolutely.
Wow. So this is why I'm really excited that you're on my show, because I speak to mostly stroke survivors, people that near-death experiences, people that's paralyzed and things of that nature, but a lot of them are stuck. They can't move out of that situation saying, okay, I am paralyzed, or I can't speak, or any numerous things of disabilities that happen out there. But I wanted you to be on here because I wanted you to show that believing in oneself and God, or whatever your higher being, you can get out of that plight that you're in.
Absolutely.
That's why I wanted you on this show.
Absolutely.
And by you telling me all this stuff that you have done, and I'm telling you guys, if you had seen where he was at and where he is now, is a completely night and day. Like I said, I used to see him in that booth at Walmart giving out flyers. Was it insurance you was doing at that time?
Credit.
Fixing credit. So he was going hard trying to support him and his family. And he knew that if he kept on doing, something would change. And something did change. He started his own business. I love it. Love is black. But before I get into this closing part of the show, I'm very curious that you're saying something to me, and I want you to really drive this home a little bit further about self-love. And you notice that you didn't love yourself. I thought for myself, hey, I was making over 6 figures. I had about 4 houses, married, going all-inclusive. He had to bring out the bagel stuff. He had to bring the bagel stuff out. I had 4 houses, married, going on all-inclusive vacations, but I wasn't happy. I know I was selfish. I was mad. I was angry a lot, but it looked like I was happy. And then afterwards, after this all happened, I was happy because I figured out how to love myself. Now, really talk about, I know you was talking about earlier about, you even thinking about suicide and things like that and selling your soul to the devil, but what was that changing point that said, you know what? I'm alive. I'm ready to go. I'm getting out of my own head. Let's go. What was that?
After I started recovering, as you mentioned, we played a lot of basketball. It's funny, I talked to my wife about that, and I told her, I said, man, me and Greg, we the biggest things out there, so we used to just battle back and forth all the time. So after I had started recovering, I wanted to get back to who I thought I was. So I started playing basketball. I started going out, having fun.
Hold on, stop. So basically, playing basketball against me was part of your therapy.
Yes, it was part of my therapy. It was.
All right, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
So I started to do things that I did before. I was paralyzed. But it came to a point where I realized that I wasn't the same person that I was that led up to me being paralyzed. So the recovery process and trying to get back into it, I felt weird. I started going out, going to clubs, having fun, drinking, hanging out with my friends, and I felt like I wasn't that same person no more. I felt like me going through who I went through evolved me into a completely different, and then it kind of like clashed, and it was like, I'm not that person no more.
I get it.
And then I evolved from that point forward, and that journey started till who I am, led up until who I am today.
Jonathan, I am so glad that you said that, because that is the most crucial part of people's recovery, because they think that I want to be that person I was before, but you will never be that person that you was before. And I'm not even talking about physically. I'm talking about mentally, because mentally you have been through something that nobody could actually understand unless they've been through it.
Right.
And you can't explain it to people. Right. So there's no way that you could lose that particular, unless you got amnesia or something, but you're not going to lose that memory. So as a person that has some kind of disability, when you try to get back to what you call quote unquote normal, that's impossible because what your mind is actually saying to yourself now is totally different than what it was before because they didn't know anything about you being paralyzed or you having a stroke or anything like that. So don't put that in your mind to be a negative thing to say I'm not the person I was before. You're a new person.
Absolutely.
Those old things don't fit you.
A
A better person. They don't fit you anymore.
A better person.
I get it, Jonathan. I get it. All right. We're at the end of our show, but at the end, I always ask my guests these 6 questions. So I'm going to put you on the hot seat. You have 30 seconds, and when you're ready for your next question, say, hey, Greg, I'm ready for the next question.
Right.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right, but after we do that, I want you to close out the show.
Okay.
Tell us anything about you, anything how we can find you, find your book, Love is Black, all of that.
Okay.
All right, bro?
Let's go.
Did your perception of life change?
Yes, life became completely different after that point. It made me feel like life is more than Jonathan after that point. It made me realize that I have an actual purpose and a service to help others.
You ready for your next question?
Let's get it.
All right. What is important about life?
Oh my gosh, what is important about life, man? Life is leaving your stamp on humanity. Life is about my legacy. Life is about helping others. Life is about being selfless. Next question, Greg.
All right, sir. Question number 3. What are you trying to accomplish in this new life?
In this new life, man, I'm just trying to be the best possible person that I can be. If it means helping others, if it means becoming a billionaire, if it means just being happy at where I'm at, wherever God want me to be, I'm happy with it.
Cool.
Next question.
All right. What advice would you give someone in their first year of rehab?
Wow. First year of rehab, I'm going to tell y'all this because it's very personal, and I tell anybody, it doesn't matter what type of rehab. Me going from learning to hold a pencil again, me learning to go through speech therapy, learning to pronounce vowel sounds all over again. Be patient. It's a process. Don't rush it. Have faith because it goes like that. It literally goes like that, but also seek counseling because the impression of going through that, it plays a long-lasting mental impression than it actually does on the physical part.
Okay, cool. Question number 5. There's only one person. Everybody comes on this and say about 5 or 6 people. One person for this question. If you had died, who would have been most affected, and how's your relationship with this person now?
Wow, one person absolutely most affected. Sheesh, I got 4 kids. I think the most person that's going to be affected is my wife. I believe God, husband, wife, kids. So I'm going to say my wife.
How's the relationship with her today?
Amazing.
Cool. Simple as that. Question number 6 and final question. What did the threat of death, or in your case, being paralyzed, teach you?
Man, the threat of death and being paralyzed, it taught me patience. It taught me patience. I believe that sometimes in life, God has a plan. I always look at God as a businessman because sometimes he needs to make things happen in order for other things to happen in life. And most of the times we want things now. Fast food, we want it now. Paychecks, we want it now. Everybody want fast money, everything. I believe that if it takes me 10 years to do something correct the first time, I would rather take 10 years to do it correct the first time versus doing it in 20 minutes and getting it wrong 20 minutes over and over and over again. So patience is going to be the biggest thing.
Okay. Jonathan Collins, I thank you so much. You're off the hot seat.
Yes, sir.
But before you leave, or I leave your store, please close out this story by telling us about you, how we can find you, your book, anything you want to give, any motivational thoughts. Show is yours.
Okay. Hey guys, as he mentioned, Jonathan Collins. A lot of people, friends and family know me by Jay Collins. I'm the author of I'm Stronger, I'm Wiser, I'm Better. It's a story how I overcame paralysis and depression. As we mentioned, I was completely paralyzed from head to toe, had to learn to walk, talk, and breathe all over again. I also have a storefront located inside Stonecrest Mall. It's downstairs on the lower level in Lithonia, Georgia. For those who are not familiar with Stonecrest Mall, you can follow me on Instagram at Love is Black Shop. Same thing with Facebook, Love is Black Shop. And then also on my website, as you see is behind us, loveisblack.com. We're inside my store. This is I got a permanent step and repeat wall, so come on down, ask me any questions. If you want to take a picture with me, we can take a picture and sit down and talk just like me and Greg. And Greg, I definitely appreciate you.
My brother.
Being a solid friend at the end of the day.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on Deaf Taught Us How to Live, and I really appreciate you. You are a great motivational piece for our community. Love is Black is actually shown all over your face, and also, in the community. We understand you, we feel you, and we respect you, and we thank you so much for being who you are.
Thank you.
Have a good day, bro.
Appreciate that.
No bad vibe me a chant. Say me no want no bad vibe me a chant. I just peace good time all around, yeah. No bad vibe me a chant. Every time I sing, I just feel nice inside me. Can't sit down every day with my mind just a spin. So me wake up and shake up, ready to face the day. Life is here to live, make use of it abundantly. Cause we don't know the hour or the day. Time is such a gift, try and control your destiny. We don't know the hour or the day. Unity is strength, they stand as one without delay.